And it says we are live on here. Hold on. I'm trying this again. Hold on. I don't have myself mic'd up. Let's try this again. Last week was a little iffy with this. I'm still experimenting with the proper place to put the microphone and stuff. So bear with me if it gets a little crackly at points and whatnot, because I'm still, like I said, I'm still sort of experimenting here. Anyway, it's Thursday night. I'm here. You're beautiful. That must mean it's time for GotBot Goes Live. I, of course, am your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, a.k.a. GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share. Of course, subscribe while you are at it. Light 'em up, baby. Hit the notification bell. It helps me out a ton, and it lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that's in the description down below. Also in the description down below. And if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course, hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. And tonight, mostly going to be third-party news. We do have a few bits and pieces, odds and ends, if you will, for some Transformer stuff that we will talk about. Kind of a news light week. Honestly, we do have trivia. We do have, which should be really easy, I think. And we do have tonight's unboxing as well. A couple of people have already guessed what they think the unboxing is when I was doing the promo leading up to the show and whatnot. Bear with me just a couple of moments here as I get myself salted away so that we can get going. I hope you guys are having a tremendous, tremendous week. I always wish you guys have a tremendous week. Let's see here. Probably say here is pretty good. Hey, Franzese, Master Fire, Big M. Hey, Darren, Blue Star. Oh. There we go. Let's see. Bean, reading the Transformers G1 mangas. They're pretty fun. Just finished Volume 2 and just got Volume 3. I mean, I didn't even know there was G1 mangas. I guess it makes sense, right? That's the Japanese comic books that like you read backwards and stuff, right? Like I'm not gonna lie. I don't know anything about any of that stuff. It's not fiction that connects to me. But hey, you know what? I'm just one person. I know that kind of after my era, there was this huge explosion where all that really caught on with a couple of generations now. So you know what? You enjoy. That's the best thing. But I mean, if you're going to try and reference any of it to me, I literally wouldn't know what you're talking about. Hey, D-Dog. Has anyone what? Hey, anyone has tech troubles? Did you try pressing the shaft? What? I don't know what you're talking about, Blue, but you mean the shift key? I assume. Hey, Tony. Caldeo. Off to a collector store after work to add and even sell off some of my Transformers collection. Well, you know, I mean, I guess you got to decide what pieces are important to you. I mean, we all do that. I do it now by controlling my spending habits for sure. You know, I've said it before. Others have said it. With such idiotic pricing, I mean, you got to pick and choose. You can't just go out and buy it all. Like, man, I remember those days. And they're not that long ago. Like, I'm sorry. I know it gets a bad rap, but man, Prime Wars, the golden age. Value for money, golden age. I mean, I can remember going, man, in Canada, not the US, in Canada, and getting 5 deluxes, and I spent something like $100, right? $20 a deluxe. Yeah, glorious, really glorious. But those days aren't here. Now we got to pick and choose. Hey, Grimlock Gun, Ultra Megatronus, Super X-Bron for $10. Wow, that's not bad. 10 for shipping. Yeah, that's nothing. But that's pretty good. The Transformers G1 manga are interesting. Like what? Like it was where we got Glithor and the mini bot combiner. Didn't even know there was a mini bot combiner. You know, like it's not. you're not going to sell me on it. That's all I can say to you. I know you're not going to sell me on it. It's too out there for me. It really is. I don't know. To each their own. It doesn't speak to me. Golly, hold on. Speaking of manga, happy birthday to Sailor Mars actress Christina V. I don't know how you know this stuff. I don't have a clue how you know this stuff. It's wild. It's impressive, but it's wild. Hey, Marcus, if I missed you, buddy. Spaghetti and meatballs kind of day. Actually, you know what's really funny, Marcus? We had pasta for supper. Yeah, I don't get references like that. But I kind of do get that reference because my wife is a gigantic Sailor Moon fan. I'm not sure how you wouldn't know that, but generally, you're right. Generally, I don't get references for that. Look, if it's after 1989, I'm not going to get it. Like Power Rangers and Pokemon, and I heard of shows they call Dexter. Has a laboratory or something. Ed, and Eddie. Like, I don't know any of these shows. All of this was after my time. Like, I was in university when these shows were on. Like, I got up in the morning. I either went to class or I read and studied and took notes all day. I had supper. I chilled out for an hour or two. I went to bed. That was my life for about 8 years. So you know, them 90s, early 2000s, I don't know anything about pop culture from that time, really. And not against, like, nothing against anyone. It's just my age and my priorities at the time are such that I like, the only reason I know a few of these names is because I worked toys at Walmart at the time. So I used to see some of the stuff on the shelf. Like, that's why I know Pokemon, because I saw it on the shelf. That's why I know Power Rangers, because I saw it on the shelf, right? That's all the connection I really have to it. Craziest thing about the G1 manga is they make everyone, one continuity in that story. Well, I mean, I assume that what we got, like with the Legends manga and stuff, is probably carrying on from that, because in Japan, like, everything kind of goes in there. That's the one thing I'll give them, is I like one continuity. I hate the reboots. I think everything should be one continuity. And instead of being lazy storytellers and always rebooting stuff, because that's just lazy storytelling, work in the continuity. Do your research when you're writing and stuff. It's really as simple as that. But there's a right way to incorporate everything and a wrong way to incorporate everything. And while I think that what they've done, like with the Legend stuff, is impressive, the whole precursor world and all the different colors and stuff, there's something also very goofy about it. So you got to be cool with that, right? It's not easy, but it can be rewarding if done right, is all I'm going to say. I don't think it's been done right, by the way, but I think it could be rewarding if done right. Yeah, I know. I know Glithor is a fusion of Optimus and Megatron. I literally used Glithor as a trivia question, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, I guess. I didn't know how I knew the character. Like, I didn't know where he came from or anything like that, but I did know Glithor, yes. Oh my goodness gracious. Hold on, where did that go, man? Let's see here. I think it was about here. Hey, Shadowbird. Hey, Manitoba. If you're driving, buddy, be safe on the road. And if I'm skipping stuff, guys, of course, I apologize, right? Most of the stuff I'm selling off, either it was a placeholder. Yeah, I hear that, or something you didn't like. That's fair. Hey, Dragonfly, buddy. Probably picking up Barrage and Chop Shop this week. Cool. Masterfar says Ed, and Eddie is freaking amazing. Frank. Let's see. Haven't seen Reboot much yet. Reboot was good. Now Reboot I do know. No, I'm not planning. I mean, I'm not planning on trying to read any of the Japanese G1. I see the stuff. My wife has some manga stuff. It's like I find this hard to read. I can't. I just can't. But I would stay away from Kiss players anyway. I find all of that wildly distasteful and inappropriate. So I try to pretend that Kiss players never happened, even though I know that it did. You can't do that on television. Oh, that was a great show. I used to love that show. Okay. I've seen Kiss players, but let's just say, yeah, I brought it back. Yeah. Anyway, let's get into the news, ladies and gentlemen, shall we? How about we start right here, maybe? Yeah, let's start with this, because I mentioned this last week. That's right. This is the MPG. I think it's like 13 or something. This is, of course, a reuse of, I think it was MP57, maybe MP54, something like that. It's the Skyfire as Shatterglass Skyfire, or Shatterglass Jetfire if you prefer the Jetfire name, though I'm pretty sure the Masterpiece did call it Skyfire. And like, this is gorgeous. I think that the Shatterglass one from the Siege mold, which is the one that I owned, is gorgeous. The blacks, the purples, the silvers, amazing. I think it works just as well, just as well here too. I mean, look how sleek, especially the plane looks. Like, the robot's cool, but look how sleek that plane looks, man. I don't know how many things they're going to do as Shattered Glass. We have the Optimus coming, that was mentioned last week, as was this guy mentioned, but now we actually see, like, I guess a reveal, we would call it, I suppose. But love the look of this. I would say a strong start to the news, and probably a strong offering as far as Masterpiece goes. Not my thing at all, but this looks really good. Love the green cockpit. I think that looks so cool. Then we can go next, I think, to here. Yeah, so Transformers 1, we know that there was, I can't remember what all these are called now, but the ones that are kind of like Warrior Class, and then the little, like, simplified ones, Cog Changers, I think, are the simplified ones, and I think the ones that are like Warrior Deluxe Class are Prime Changers, or some such thing as that. And here's the Alpha Trion, and again, I think it looks fine. I mean, the alt mode is kind of Lion-esque, sort of Shattered Glass Alpha Trion alt mode. But I like the look of this. It's fine. I mean, a little stylized of an Alpha Trion, sure, but like, nothing wrong with it. I mean, decent articulation, even ankle tilt there. Like, I don't know, man. This seems like full-on deluxe to me, personally. Like, look at the, full splits, full T-pose, deep ankle tilt. What's not to like, honestly? I think it's a really interesting take on Alpha Trion. Then we get to the Optimus, and I'll say this about the Optimus, like, mode is okay. I prefer the gray use here than the gray use on the Studio Series 1, if I'm being honest. I prefer the head sculpt of this over the Studio Series 1. I prefer the darker blue on this over the Studio Series 1. Again, I talked about this last week. The axe looks like his hand is kind of like the handle of the axe protrudes from his hand or something. It's like his hand is holding onto like a ball of energy that the axe comes from. I think this is better than the Studio Series, to be perfectly honest with you. And if you are interested about size, I mean, here's a couple of comparisons. For example, most notably the Rise of the Beast 3-pack version of Eraser. So I mean, it's deluxe-ish size, right? It comes with a Matrix, which is also cool. The 2 smokestacks, which are his blasters, I find that a little weird. There's the Matrix unfolded out. So, like, yeah, cool, awesome. I don't know if mainline should be better than Studio Series, but I feel like that mainline Optimus Orion Pax is better than the Studio Series. Maybe you feel different, and that's cool, but I can only go on kind of like what I think of it. How about this? How about this? Let's dive a little bit into YOLOPARK. We actually have a few YOLOPARK things that we'll touch on here. One of them that's kind of revealed here is a Nemesis Prime. And see if I can find now the kind of details for that one. Just give me a second here. Take him in because he looks good. He really does look quite good. Yeah, AMK Pro Nemesis Prime. I'm pretty sure that he is just going to be like available via like a couple of cons, like 3 Asian shows. I'm saying Asian because I think they're in different areas of Asia, and he's going to be available there. How, if, will he be available otherwise, these 3 conventions? I don't know. I think that this is pretty cool. Again, I don't know why they always give him a Decepticon logo. He's really his own guy. If anything, he's a harbinger of Unicron more often than not. But they always kind of slot him into Decepticon. I don't hate it, but I don't know. To me, he's his own guy, I guess. But it looks good. It looks fine as far as the YOLOPARK stuff goes. AMK Pro, I think, is like, I want to say the more simplified one, but not as simple as just AMK. Like, there's more fit and finish and maybe some more parts to this. I'm not really into these kits. I mean, the guy doesn't transform or anything. But for a well-articulated Nemesis Prime, looks great. Looks really great. I'm sure that the finish, the parts count, the articulation and whatnot will all be nicely high end. But that's not the only thing that we have from YOLOPARK. In fact, see if I can find it here now. Is it this one? Yeah, I think it's. I'll show this. This is a tease from YOLOPARK, basically teasing some upcoming Rise of the Beasts offerings, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it's Transformers 1 offerings, actually. I'm sorry. I think that these are Transformers 1 offerings. Yeah, YOLOPARK, Transformers 1 offerings tease. My mistake. I apologize. If you look at the silhouettes behind the words here, you should see a silhouette that kind of looks like Optimus, that kind of looks like Bumblebee or Orion and B127 if you prefer. There's one that sort of looks like Alita 1, and of course one that looks like Megatron. What will they look like? How will they turn out? I'm sure that they will be impressive. They, again, because it's YOLOPARK, they won't transform, but I have no doubt that they will be highly impressive. And also from YOLOPARK, and we have talked about this a little bit. I don't think I ever really showed it though. Yeah, take a look at that. This, of course, is Ape Link, and the body looks very much like Optimus Primal. The head is a little more, I don't know, jagged, angular, knightish. This is the box and whatnot. Like, it's spiky. I don't know, but like, it's obviously not Optimus Primal's head. It has a Prime feel to it, of course. As you would expect from YOLOPARK. I mean, hyper detailed, tons of parts to put together and whatnot. I don't know which one that this actually falls under. I guess that's the like inner skeleton. Anybody who knows the YOLOPARK models, obviously you see this and you're like, yeah, that looks about right. Because basically with the higher end ones, you kind of build the whole skeleton in the inside and you put everything else on it from the outside as well. The articulation is kind of crazy. Look at the parts on it, right? Honestly. And of course, with each picture, you can see more and more parts fleshing out the whole body. A nice close-up there of the head sculpt. I love the eyes. I think the eyes really stand out. And of course, here's our bulked up boy. There's his back and his hip skirts and his legs, right? So like your usual fodder. We've talked about this a lot. I think that this turned out really well even if somewhat monochromatic, but so was the guy in the film, so you can't really fault it, honestly. And before I check in with you guys, how about this? So coming up, I believe it's August the 24th, 25th is New Jersey CollectorCon. And one of the big things that they always do is have a door prize, right? If you're in Jersey, you're going to the CollectorCon, there's always a door prize. They've used HasLab Star Saber before. I think last year they used Death Source. This year, something very unique, very different. If you haven't heard, it's this. And you might say, what is that? Well, that is their biggest door prize ever. Yes, that is Cobra. It is a Cobra version of the USS Flag. I don't know if it's a custom. I don't know if this is something being produced. I don't know what it is, but what a door prize to win. As if Cobra wasn't powerful enough. Yeah, give him a ship like the Flag. I think that this is super duper cool. I'm sure that the 2 days of the con will be great, but man, oh man, what a masterstroke of a door prize. Very, very impressive. I would love to see images of this thing rather than just this tease. Hopefully we do, because that is a special piece, really, for any collector of G.I. Joe, right? Any collector of the 80s, really. Okay, let's check in with you guys for a few moments here, because I'm sure you've been saying stuff that I have missed. Again, if I missed stuff, I apologize. Let's see here. As we go up here a little bit. Hey, Sovereign. Yeah, it was about here. I remember that show, Marcus. What show did Marcus say? Oh, you can't do that on television. And today's special, Jeff with his hat and Mr. Crenshaw. Oh, yeah, I love today's special. And Muffy and Jody, was that her name? Am I remembering all their names right? There been any word on the Bumblebee Origins reissue? Bumblebee Origins reissue of what? I don't know what reissue you're talking about there, buddy. Or do you mean a reissue of Origins Bumblebee? No, I haven't heard anything about that. I never seen Kiss Players, but let's just say I brought it back. Yeah, you're better off now. That's one of those things. Let's just forget that exists. I did like the leaked images of Stormbringer Bludgeon and Ruckus. So I don't know what that is, because as we all know, I just can't stand IDW. Just as a company, forget Transformers. I don't like anything that they do. I find them wildly unreadable. We know this. However, I absolutely want that Ruckus, 100%. And as I said last week, that Bludgeon is such a wild, outlandish color that bears no resemblance to any iteration of Bludgeon that I know, that I'm cool with it, because he can stand as his own absolute unique character. And I kind of love how the yellow and greens play off each other. And I sort of love the missing lower jaw with just the wires and stuff hanging away. I think that there's something very visceral about it. So I like it. I don't really know the reference. I don't care to know the reference, but I want those two bots. Ruckus is always like a one that's like a BotCon or a Collector's Club or a TFCon exclusive or something. Like, I just want a Ruckus, man. I need to rewatch Beast Wars Neo. That was a good one. That was a good one. Would rather have the one from Siege. I assume you're talking about the Nemesis Prime. That's fine. Nice to see another Shattered Glass, or maybe you were talking about the Shattered Glass Jetfire. Whether you're talking about the Nemesis Prime or the Jetfire, cool. Nice to see another Shattered Glass Autobot other than Shattered Glass Optimus. I'll watch an anime if it's dubbed. Yeah, see, I'm not going to watch it if it's dubbed, because usually it's dubbed poorly. It's rare that I'll... my oldest, he watches a lot of anime, and it's just too out there for me. It's just, I look at it and it's like an onslaught to the senses. I don't know. I don't think I'd ever be able to like live in Japan, because I would have nothing to entertain me. It's just as simple as that. Big Convoy needs a new fig to go with Optimus Prime. I mean, does he though? Does he really need a new one? Because I'm not really sure what you do to improve on the original. Whatever they're going to do to make a new one, he won't have any of the spring-loaded gimmicks, that's for sure. I mean, I'm sure that he'll be done. I have no doubt. I don't know how it'll be. I'll have to see how it compares. Like, again, new isn't always better. Case in point, the new Sideburn. It's not going to be as good as the original Sideburn. It's just not, right? So, I don't know. Is that a render? Impressive how slick that Skyfire looks. I don't think so. I think it's hard to tell because you got like this black background and he's on there black, and it is a lot of a sea of black there. But I think it's the actual dude. If it's a render, the resolution on it's real high. Not here, but the resolution on the image, which I think I saw in, well, T-Formers and TFW, really high. I personally think it looks a little too black. That's just me. I like Shatterglass Siege Jetfire. And that's fair. That's a fair criticism to make. I mean, the Siege one also has a fair amount of black, but it's not quite as dead night black as this one is. Although I do love that green cockpit. Got the Shatterglass Jetfire and great for me. That's fair. Yeah. My brother and sister even watch Dream Slayer. Never was interested. No, Demon Slayer. Never heard of it. I grew up with Reading Rainbow, Bill Cosby's Picture Pages, and Puddin' Pops, and Pinwheel. Yeah, there you go. Darren's in my neck of the woods. There you go, buddy. You're in my neck of the woods. Wouldn't it be cool if they finally dubbed Headmaster, Super Guy Master Force, and Zone properly into English? Yes, properly being the key word. I agree, Master Fire. And Victory. Do Victory as well. Do Super Guy Master Force, do Headmaster, Super Guy Master Force, Victory, and Zone, all in good English. Though, if any of them have been somewhat successful in their dub to English, it's probably Victory. It's probably the best done of the ones that they did. Not say it's great, but it's probably the best done of the ones that they did. Alpha Lion TM, I guess. This Optimus looks better than the Studio Series. I agree. Absolutely. I'm tempted to get the Earthspark, Starscream. I'm not tempted to get any of the Earthspark bots I already have. I'm not tempted to get any bots I already have, period. But man, oh man, give me that hashtag. I want the Terrans all nice, done and rounded out. I really dislike the product release plan Hasbro does with shows and movies. All the really subpar toys clog the shelves and you barely see the cool ones. Yes, absolutely. And every time they do all of this, one step and three-step garbage, and they'll do, yeah, and they'll do, that was Starscream White, by the way, and they'll do like, I don't know, like now, for one, they got those ones where like they have the base and it's kind of like Rock'em Sock'em Transformers. Stop. You know this stuff is garbage and it's not going to sell. And if it does, a month from now, you're going to see it at Goodwill or a thrift store, or in Canada here we have Value Village, because the kids are going to get it and go home and be like, this is junk. And the collectors don't want it. I've said it once, I've said it a million times. Get rid of all the gimmicky trash. Ooh. Yeesh. Get rid of all the gimmicky trash. Just put stuff out good that's reasonably priced. You wouldn't have to overcharge as much as you do if you didn't waste so much money and funds and resources on all this gimmicky junk, man. Right? Mainline. That's all you needed for one. You didn't even need to do that Studio Series 112 or whatever it was, Optimus. Not at this point. You did not need to rush that out. You have a better quality mainline one coming out. Anyway, that's my take on it. But I tend to agree with you, Tony. I'm glad they're making these affordable so that new kids can get into the collecting. That's got to be the key. You got to bring in new fans, and you're not going to do it. Like in Canada, you're not going to do it charging like $40 a deluxe. Or get this. So I've seen, I'll mention it now because why not? I saw that Optimus, that Studio Series Optimus, and I've seen the Studio Series 86 Bumblebee. The Studio Series 86 Bumblebee was at Toys R Us. It's tiny. like even a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be. And what's Toys R Us charging for deluxe now? Get this. If you're drinking something or eating something, I'm going to count back from 5 to give you time to either lay it down or swallow it. Okay? So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. For deluxe. Now you know that Studio Series 86 Bumblebee. What does Toys R Us in Canada want for it? $42.99. $43 plus tax. I mean, no. For something that's really a Legends class that should be about $12. No, I'm not spending $50 on it. Especially the yellow doesn't match. I think the chest is too squared. It's cute. It's a good Bumblebee. There's no doubt. But it's not worth the asking price. Sorry. You're not getting me online with that. Black Optimus. I mean, it's funny you say that. You're saying Black Optimus TM, but you know that he's called Black Convoy, right? In Japan. So Nemesis Prime looks pretty interesting, but it's just another Enemies Prime. Yeah, you're right. You know, the ones never bought a YOLOPARK figure. I've been tempted. Just trying to restrict myself. Yeah, I mean, I saw them. They look cool and stuff, but I'm not really into models. And once it's done, it doesn't transform. It's not my thing. I understand the impressive nature of it. I get if you're a model builder, like if you like Gundam and stuff, maybe that's who this kind of appeals to. Wouldn't be for me, but I respect it. See, like the YOLOPARK looks incredible, super tempting, and I get it. If you're like a model person, a model kit builder and stuff, like I 100% get it because the love, the texture, the detailing, it's there. It's there for sure. By the way, last night, what? New York brother, sister, and I assume you mean my brother, sister, and I drove past the Hasbro company building next block to the Burbank Airport. Cool. Wouldn't it be cool to see highbrow return of fiction? Sure, why not? That's an interesting one to pick out. Maybe Alita 1. Alita 1's in a lot of stuff now. I'm kind of glad that she's become a little more prominent than she used to be, though. Hey, Albert. Legacy Motormaster is like $78 on Amazon as of last night. That's a good price. I don't know if that's American or US or what, but 78 seems like a good price either way. Ape Link Olin. Ape Link. Oh, Ape Lincoln. Oh, man. Oh, Sovereign. Oh, Sovereign. I honestly think Legacy Skullgrin is underrated. So do I. I think he's great. I don't know why he gets the flack he gets. I love Legacy Skullgrin. I think he's wonderful. I use the Generations as Dauros. No, I use the Generations as Skullgrin, and I use the Legacy one as Dauros. And I actually have them as two separate characters. Because, hey, why not? Amazon is the last place to go buy Transformers. I agree. You're sending me a Blaster reissue photo as soon as you read this comment. Okay. I mean, okay, cool, I guess. Holy anorexic bots, Batman. It's just because that's a skeleton you were seeing. That's all. Ape Lincoln Park. Oh my. You guys. Can't wait for Legacy Quake. So I think the Legacy Quake is decent. I think they're using a good mold for it because I do like the Skullgrin. But I look at it as, how can I put this? Like, I still like my Titans Return one. I'm not necessarily in for this one because I don't have a problem with my Titans Return one. I'm okay with Chasm being the head, and I actually did 2 custom Target Masters anyway. However, if somebody feels like they need that one replaced, or if they didn't get it, because that one's a bit older and stuff now. While I think Quake is a little bit out there of a release to do, why not? Why not? You got a mold that lends itself nicely to him. I think he looks good. I don't know if I need him, but again, I don't have anything against it. I think it's an interesting release, and it's a great mold being used for it. Hey, Ninja Bill. $42.99 is high. $42.99 is high. That's why most people aren't going to buy it. It's simple as that. $25.99 US to Canadian is about $35. Why the extra $7 markup? Because Toys R Us is garbage and trash, and as much as Americans miss it, don't. It's a trash company. Be glad that you still have Target. At least you get sales there. Like, here's the funny part. They had a 25% off sale at Toys R Us, which means that it was $34 plus tax to get like Bumblebee. The going price for a lot here now is $37 to $38 a deluxe, right? So, I mean, it is what it is, right? But I don't see Toys R Us lasting another decade. I'll be shocked if they do. And I won't miss them when they're gone. Whenever Target actually gets inventory in the stores lately, they've been garbage. And you know what? Maybe. But here's what I always found. And granted, my experience with Target was limited. But here's what I always found. A, it would take a long time for them to get stock. True. But when they did, I found they would get everything all at once. B, they had everything first. It was the only store I ever saw, even though I didn't buy it, it was the only store I ever saw the Voyager Brainstorm. It was the only store I ever saw Scoop, and it was the only store where I ever saw the Deluxe Valve Cybertron Skywarp. The only one. So make of that what you will. I mean, you're saying the Target next year has Crosscut from Evolution, but like, we still got mostly Evolution here. Though I'll give Walmart credit, they are starting to stock the Unite stuff now, like with Wave 1. Don't miss Toys R Us. Don't miss Toys R Us. Target stores are few and far between here, and found like miles and miles apart. Well, I mean, again, there's one Toys R Us in our entire province. Our province is made up of an island and another part connected to the mainland. The Toys R Us is on the island, which means if you live in the mainland part, unless you're going to hop the border and go to Quebec, you're not going to go to a Toys R Us. If you live on the island, you have to come all the way to the East Coast, to St. John's, in order to go there. I mean, you're talking a day's travel, a day's drive, right, to get across the island. Nobody's doing that. But I wouldn't miss them. Let me put it to you this way. If you miss them, you're missing what you remember them to be, not what they are. Don't miss them. They're not worth it. Trust me. I've been trying to sell my Powerlinks Hotshot and Jolt new box for $36, free shipping, and he's not even selling on eBay. I guess he's not that great of a character. But see, here's the problem with that. Everybody always says, how come they always do G1? How come they always do G1? How come they always do G1? Because they're going to sell, and people are going to buy them blindly. Not even going to look at the price. They're just going to buy it because they need it. You're saying you're trying to sell, and the Hotshot he's talking about, by the way, folks, is the one that, at least here, was a GameStop. I don't know what it was in the US for an exclusive, but it's the one that came with the Jolt. It's the legacy one, right? And he can't sell it. That's a problem. If you want something other than G1, then you can't have stuff not selling. Like, there should not be a Tidal Wave on the shelf. There should not be a Megatron or a Galvatron when it comes out. I should not even be able to find that Hotshot. It should be selling like hotcakes. Because here's the thing, the G1 stuff does. Just today, somebody local happened to point out at Walmart that they had a Wave 2 or whatever, and it was only one case. And he said, they have gears. Didn't mention Shard, didn't mention Chromia, didn't mention Thundertron, mentioned gears, because that was the only one that mattered. If you want something other than G1, then you got to support it, man. You know, food for thought, guys. Yeah, I missed the nostalgia factor. There you go. Missed the nostalgia factor. Okay, let's get back into it and get this done. How about we go here next? Look at that. Oh, Newage, you so crazy. Yes, of course, this is Slag or Slog, depending on how you prefer him named. Why does he look like this? He's the Marvel Comics coloration of him, right? I mean, it looks fine. If you like the Marvel Comics collection, it's great for that. Personally, this was one of those times where, and this is a great example, like as a kid, I would look at Transformers comics. I would see this and I would say, why does he look like that? That's not the way he looks in the show. And then my interest in the comics was done. It was really that simple when I was a kid. It didn't look like the show. I wasn't interested. And like, I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying that's the way it was. I'm sure that there are people out there that had the comics first and said, that doesn't, when they saw the show, probably didn't have as much interest in the show and said, that doesn't look like the comic book, right? I get it. I understand. Then we have this. This is the Overwatch 2 crossover. I'm not going to lie. I assume Overwatch is a video game. I've never heard of it. I literally know nothing about the franchise. I know nothing about Overwatch. I don't even want to know anything about Overwatch. It certainly looks like there's some battle that happens in it. And in the trailer, it looked like some of the characters turned into Transformers. I don't really know how it works, and I don't care. For my interest's sake, or for my point here, because people more knowledgeable about this will be able to report on the gameplay and the details better than me. This is a very interesting take on the Transformers that we know and love. Right up behind, we have Megatron, who I guess it's kind of Fall of Cybertronish, but I don't think I would have recognized initially that it was Megatron. The Optimus looks cool. I think the way that they've done his eyes and visor is very unique, very wild. I love the RC. I like the differentiation of the color of her face to like her here, skull, whatever. The Bumblebee is definitely an amped up, beefed up, battling Bumblebee. I kind of like the battle mask that he has. Yeah, I mean, the Optimus, Optimus Prime, Reinhardt, I don't know who these characters are, right? Megatron, Ramatrar, but this is obviously heavily inspired by War for Cybertron, Megatron. RC, Ilari, I mean, I love that RC. I think that looks excellent. Bumblebee, Bastion. I mean, if you know all of this, then cool. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think of it? I don't know the franchise, so I can't speak on it. But what do you guys think of it? I'm actually going to check out before we go on, see if anybody here actually knows if that's good or what. Yeah, it's a team shooter. Okay, there. That's all I need to know. That's enough for me to know. It's the type of colors they color with. What? It's the type of colors they could use back then. And Marvel, when they first printed, did not have access to the cartoon. Oh, listen, Ninja Bill. I'm not debating it. I'm not saying anything about it. I'm just saying, as a kid, I looked at it and said, that doesn't look like the cartoon. I'm out. And I was out. It was as simple as that. I was done. If it didn't look like the cartoon, then it wasn't right. I also wasn't a fan of the Ladybird books because they were trying to make the toy design seem like they would move. And I didn't like that because it didn't look like the cartoon. I have a shirt that says, cartoon is king. I live by it. Cartoon is king. It was the beginning and it was the end for me. Not saying it's true for everyone, just little insight in old GotBot's mind. I seen Overwatch vibes back in middle school days. Oh, Vines? I don't know what a Vine is, but okay. You're not missing much from Overwatch. Yeah, I wasn't going to worry about it. I just assumed it was, like it looked like a shoot 'em up type of game, right? Yeah, this looks good. I agree. It's nothing interesting. It's just the characters cosplaying as Transformers. Oh, okay. That's weird. Bastion Booger. I wondered if somebody was going to mention Bastion Booger. He was so gross. You never know what you're going to find when you come in here. A Bastion Booger reference. That's great. At least you didn't hear the audio tape from the Ladybird books. Oh, but I did. The Overwatch thing is canon, apparently, to both continuities. I don't know how. Weird. Crazy. The G1 comics had color differences due to the ink. Yes. I know all about comic production and the ink shoes and blah, blah. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying the comics didn't look like the cartoon, so I was out. It's really as simple as that. I don't care what the technology was or whatnot. It's just, if it doesn't look like the cartoon, then I'm out. That's all. That's all I'm saying. That's I'm just giving you some insight into how my messed up brain works. That's all. I understand. Trust me when I say I understand the business side of it, why they couldn't do it and how it didn't work and stuff. I get all that. I'm telling you I don't care about any of that. I didn't like it as a child because it didn't look like the cartoon. That's all. That's all. Nothing against it. Like I said, some people are in reverse. They saw the comic first and probably said the cartoon don't look like the comic. I'm out. That's fine. Maybe you're a, I'm a cartoon is king guy. Maybe you're a comic is king guy, or a like input, a toy is king, right? So I mean, to each their own, right? Oh, I detest the black helmet. Oh, that irks me so much. Anyway, moving on. Let's get back into this here so we can get done and get out. Like I think Patriot Prime really loved the comic. I think that was his intro, so he would probably prefer those colors. To be honest with you, speak for him, but there we go. And of course, this is I'm pretty sure this is a TFCon Toronto exclusive, if I'm not mistaken. This, of course, is Galvatron done by Oculus Max. It is their take on, I basically, it's kind of like they did with Tarn, where if Tarn was female, if Galvatron was female. I don't hate this. I'm sure the quality is top notch because of the company making it. It's as simple as that. I think that this looks really sleek, really interesting, very cool. Kind of a sinister face sculpt and whatnot. If I actually kind of close that one, you see the face sculpt here, nice. I like the look of the nose and the mouth area. I really like the look of the helmet. I think that this is very impressive. And the alt mode, not for nothing, but the alt mode is kind of like an earth tank a la the deluxe mega Galvatron from Universe Classics, whatever it was. Obviously, this is going to be much better executed than that was. And I believe this is selling. Hold on, I'm going to tell you now, just to make sure I'm right here. It's 150 Canadian. Yeah, Oculus Max Galvatron, 150 Canadian. Like, I get that it's a TFCon exclusive thing, and I'm sure after there'll be some maybe at ages 3 and up. But like 150 Canadian for this, I think is a good price. Honestly, I really do. And now we got this, and I want to make sure that I do find what I have written for this. So, ACG Hong Kong 2024 Revenge of the Fallen threezero Deluxe Dark Optimus Prime, but it's basically a Nemesis version of Jetwing Optimus Prime, right? It's an exclusive Nemesis Prime, 1600 available, due to release in Q3 of this year. I don't know exactly how the availability will be outside of ACG Hong Kong, where this is showcased. I assume all around. I don't know how exclusive this will be, but 1600, not a huge run. I mean, it's the threezero Deluxe Optimus Prime, not the M Deluxe, which is the smaller, more affordable one. This is like the next step up. This is certainly bigger. This is probably more around, I don't know, like a foot tall-ish, maybe. And you can see for yourself the details here. And of course, you can put the jet wing parts on it to make this guy kind of gigantic and bonkers. Faceplate, that's up to you. I mean, it's threezero. Their work is pretty impeccable. Does not transform. Keep that in mind. How about we go here next? So let's delve in for a moment, if we may, to Iron Factory. And Iron Factory's take on good old Hellbat. I think they call them Fellbat in the box set that came from Hasbro. I actually used a version of Ratbat to make his chest minion, and that makes sense since he has his little bat buddy down here. Nice, clean, plain. Again, Much like with Guy Hawk, you got the wings on the back that look like they would be a bit obtrusive, but it's accurate and stuff. I can't be angry about this at all. I really can't. This looks really great. He's wildly well articulated. The chest minion is on there nice. His spear is really cool. Like, I really like this version of Hellbat. We kind of have a grayed out version here of the completed Lio Kaiser, and see him as an arm. Speaking of which, we actually do have the Lio Kaiser here as well. All of the colors there. Now, the actual leg bots are kind of slotted into full leg pieces. It looks like the arm bots are actually the arm bots. I'm not really sure how the torso goes together, but like, what a great looking Lio Kaiser. Look at the spear there. He looks solid. I think he stands about 9 inches tall, so a bit small, but I mean, remember, it's Legends. I love his accessory and how, you know, it can be a long staff, or it can be like two-handed, or each of those are like little, almost like chain pieces, right? So it can serve his nunchucks, basically, right? Love this. Really impressed with it. There you go. That's what I was looking for. This one here, where you can see like the almost like chain nature of his staff, right? Really, really well done by Iron Factory. I'm very, very, very impressed. And not for nothing, I like Iron Factory. Wish it was a little bit bigger to kind of scale with some Combiner Wars. We only have a few things here left. What about this trash? This speaks exactly to the trash we mentioned earlier. Look at that. Like, look at this. I saw this and I was like, I know this. And then I realized I really know this. This is very old. This is being released now under one, and it's 9 years old. Why do I know this? Because this is nothing more than the, make sure that I say this right now. Where is it? Where is it? Because I actually wrote down what this trash was. Let me see if I can find it here now. I think I wrote down what this trash was. Yes. Do you remember Cyberverse in 2015? Do you remember they did these deployers, and Overload was released with, well, this guy. This would be, I don't know. I don't even remember his name now. But the little deployer guy, it was turned into a ball, and it went on the front of the tank. That's what this is. This is garbage. That was a garbage gimmick back then. This is still garbage. You didn't need to waste the plastic, the paint, design, the packaging. All of that could have been money saved, and those savings could have been handed on to the consumer. This is, I don't like anything about this. That looks nothing like the Megatron or D16 we're getting in the film at all. I hate that this exists. Don't even feel bad for saying it, man. Don't even feel bad for saying it. This, however, is cool. From Lasercat. Not a company I know, but they're doing this. Ain't that cute? Ain't that absolutely adorable? They're doing a super deformed, smaller version of Predaking. Of course, this is kind of like a grayscale. Look at those eyes. Oh, buddy. Not a lot of details here yet. Not a ton of details, some. But this is a small little chibi one. Looks really cool. I absolutely love the look of this. I'm not into the chibis. You are cool. I'm not into the swarm stuff, but if you are, cool. I can't wait to see this all colored up. Looks solid. Looks well articulated. And then in terms of top news stories, I wanted to say this comparison picture for last. This is what I've been waiting for Metal Hawk. Yes. So here we have both versions of Metal Hawk. The one that previously came out with the darker blues. The gold is slightly different, maybe. The reds look to be the same to me. The one on the left is, like, if you're looking at the screen like I am, the one on our left with the darker blues, that's the one that already came out that is cartoon accurate. The one right with the lighter blue is the more toy accurate one. Actually, lighter blue and darker grays on the legs and kind of around the knees. Metal Hawk is a tremendous mold. Was overlooked by a lot of people that didn't know Headmasters or whatever. But I mean, I like the cartoon look, but I respect the other one. In fact, I have the other one because I have the deluxe that came out in 2017 as part of a pack. And the head of that one, being, of course, a Titan Master, was Professor Go. So I actually used that deluxe as a transtector for Professor Go. And that whole one is Professor Go. And the transtector looks like Metal Hawk because he respects Metal Hawk. That's the way I explained that away. And that's why I have the Voyager and the... That said, I also mentioned by Mark that he would like to incorporate more of the human element as they go ahead with other potential pretenders, much like they've incorporated some of the monster elements with the Decepticons. He'd like to incorporate more of the human element going forward. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. We would have to see how it works out, but I would be in for a couple of more Autobot pretenders. I feel like we get the Decepticon ones more often than the Autobot ones. You know, we've gotten a couple of Metal Hawks, but like, except for the little Titan Master or Prime Master ones that we got that look like the outer shells, we really haven't gotten much of the Autobot pretenders at all. You know, make of that what you will. Okay, so let's check through the rest of the news here to make sure I haven't forgotten anything, my friends, and then we will do our trivia. And that's when I'll check in with you guys again here before we get out and do the unboxing and stuff. So we already talked about that overload deployer. What a waste of money that thing is. We talked about Hellbat from Iron Factory. We talked about the Nemesis Jetwing Prime from ACG Hong Kong. We talked about that. Speaking of Transformers 1, there will be an SDCC panel that's going to happen. I think it's the Thursday that's happening in the morning, like 11 to 12 or something. And not for nothing, if you're a wrestling fan, because last week we kind of got sidetracked there a little bit. AEW is going to have a panel the same day in conference room 6, where they're going to be talking about, I don't know what they're going to be talking about, their interactions with Warner Brothers Discovery. So, you know, a lot of stuff, as usual, going on at SDCC. But for us Transformers fans, there will be a one panel on that Thursday. I think it's the 25th. YOLOPARK, we already talked about. The Newage we talked about with the Dinobot. We talked about the one main line, Optimus and Alpha Trion. And the other thing I said, I thought it was like a one step. It's not. It's the Rock'em Sock'em things, whatever they're called. We talked about New Jersey Collector Con, YOLOPARK, the Bumblebee, that. So that's it. That's all the news. Let's do the trivia question. Easy trivia question. If you don't get it, I'll be shocked here, guys. So we know that the cons have the trigger cons, being Ruckus, Crankcase, and Windsweeper. The Autobots have the trigger bots. Which of the following is not one of the trigger bots? So I'm going to say 4 names. One of them is not a trigger bot. Which one is not a trigger bot? Is it A, Windmill? Is it B, Backstreet? Is it C, Override? Or is it D, Dogfight? Is it Windmill, Backstreet, Override, or Dogfight? Which one is not a trigger bot? I'm going to let you guys answer while I go up, and I'll meet you back at the answers as I get down through the comments here. Let's see here. About let's see. Good old Fellbat, right? Good old Fellbat. I never liked Jetwing Prime design, me either. I'm not a big fan. It looks impressive, but it's always bulky and cumbersome. What's crazy is the Japanese Blu-ray exclusive Revenge of the Fallen Prime had the exact same colors, but he was never called Nemesis. I don't think they've ever called any of the like Black Optimus Prime's Nemesis in Japan. I think it's always either been Dark Optimus Prime or Black Convoy. I don't think the name Nemesis Prime has ever been used in Japan. Someone could correct me if I'm wrong on that. Iron Factory Lyle Kaiser will be my first Legend set I am going to purchase. And you know what, Ed? I honestly, I can't even fault you for it. Only for the fact he doesn't fit my collection, I would go that route as well. It's nice to have a sort of proper Lyle Kaiser available. I agree. Really clean colors, crisp pop doesn't help. Hasbro Lyle Kaiser was rather underwhelming. Yes, he was. He should have been done proper. I agree. Hey, Claire de Lune. Like the store Claire de Lune? My money is on Voltron. My money's on Voltron. I'm not planning on getting Party Wallop. No. That thing is $72 before tax here. And it looks like a Voyager. So, you know, by the time you put tax on, you're looking at $80 for a Voyager. No, not a chance. Plus, I'm sorry, if you're gonna have one, you need four because you're gonna have four turtles. No. Again, I think it's neat. I think it's neat to look at. I would watch someone else's review on it, but no, I'm not a crossover guy. I don't want to spend that kind of money on what's essentially a Voyager. No thanks. I call this shovelware. Looks like Happy Meal or from a cereal box. Yes, you're right. I liked Overload in the show. He was fun. Yes, I liked him in the show, but he never got a proper release. All I got was this junk. Well, it's not that the bot's back. The mold is back, right? Hasbro trying to waste resources on dog turd impossible challenge. He needs a new fig. I agree. I absolutely agree. What? But it's the Noth only one they are doing that for. Oh, but it's not the only one they're doing that for. I don't know. TF1 is Hasbro's swan song. It will be telling if it does not do well. I mean, how many times have we said that, though? We've been saying that since Age of Extinction. I am garbage, leader of the Decepticons. Chibi Predaking. Look at Ninja Bill finding it all cute. Chibi Predaking, neat, pass, but neat. I'm with you, Tony. That's the way I am. Do they remake these? I thought it was an old stock in a warehouse. Well, you get a lot of that going on, too. A lot of old stock being reused. I kind of want to see the Trainbots return in fiction. Yes, I would, too. I would like to get a sensible Raiden, to be honest with you. Or even, what is it? JRX or whatever? Rail Rapid Run, Rail Racer, whatever his name is. It's warm here. My brain is a bit melting. The face on the right looks a little more defined. Maybe it's just the light. And it might be the light. I think it's the color that they use on it. It's not that it's more well-defined. I think that the darker gray, though, does help it, the details stand out more. I'll give you that much for sure. Don't care about Metal Hawk, but I want a reissue of Cyclonus. The one that doesn't yellow. Metal Hawk's great. We can all return the Metal Hawk we have for the new one. I'd be okay with that. Oh, how many times do you think you're going to find them switched out? I'd say a lot. These is the Generation Cyclonus you can get. Haven't heard of that one yellow. Nope, you're right. The Generations one hasn't. Because, oh, hold on. A, B, B, B. Yes, it's Windmill, of course. And for anybody not in the know, though I don't think there are many people not in the know here, Action Master Elite. That's what Windmill is. And of course, he turns into a helicopter. Kind of, sort of. A weird helicopter. Okay. I know G1 Override was a bike guy. Tell me why. No, I'm not seeing the Backstreet Boys. My wife loves them. Oh gosh, they're so bad. They're so bad. But yes, the answer was A. Windmill. Have you read any of the new Image TF comics? I have. In fact, I've reviewed some of them, Claire de Lune, on the channel. I mean, I don't think I'm necessarily in for all of the Energon universe, but I think it's infinitely better written and edited than anything IDW ever did. I am not a comics guy for Transformers, but I think that Dreamwave done fine. Marvel did fine. I already explained why it didn't resonate with me in terms of the colors and the art, even though I understand why that was the case. But like in modern times, I can't stand any treatment of anything IDW did. I think they almost ruined the franchise. I think it's that bad. I think that what Skybound Image is doing is infinitely better. Infinitely better. Team Bullet Train. There you go. There you go. Team Bullet Train. Thanks. Let's go with that. You've been right twice. Cool. Okay. I've tried to revisit the IDW stuff, and man, it's rough. I agree. Okay, let's do the unboxing and get out of here. Let's go. So, by the way, there's going to be a Skybound panelist as well, too. I didn't mention that. Okay, so I got this box. A bunch of people guessed what was in this box. I'm going to show you what was in this box right now. And it's, boom, these two guys. It is the Windsweeper, who I've never had because I didn't have the original. Then there was the Combiner Wars one, and that was like for the Collector Club or something. And now it's this one. And I was like, man, I want a Windsweeper. It's killing me. That's also why I want Ruckus, because I have the crankcase. Now I have Windsweeper. I want the Ruckus because I want the Trigger Cons. Not for nothing. I really dig this plane. I like it for Needle Nose. I like for this guy. And Needle Nose was another one. Like, yes, I didn't think I'd ever get these guys. I don't care about the two target masters. They're just going to live on his arms as like his arm cannon things, right? Very neat. But the more interesting comparison is going to be, and I already have some thoughts on this, of course, but the more interesting comparison in that review is going to be this guy, which we all know I said is not Bulkhead. Is it better for Breakdown? Well, we're going to find out when we actually compare him to Breakdown. I can't wait to compare these two. Really can't wait to compare these two. My guess is that I'm going to keep one and my son is going to get the other one. That's my guess on that. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get out of here. I love each and every one of you. Thank you so very much for coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through Spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. Please and thank you. Hit the subscribe button. Stick around. Have some fun with us here on the channel. And don't forget, not for a moment, not for a second, that tomorrow we're going to have 4 bots and 1 review. It's going to be the 4-pack tomorrow. And also don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every single day, you right there, my friends, you do make a difference in the world. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights, at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way right here inside the videos.